Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the Last Epoch dev stream. As usual, I am your host, Mike. Hello. And just going to start off with a little warning / apology. I am still quite sick. Done a bunch of stuff to make it so it doesn't look that way, if possible, but I will probably be muting myself a few times. And I may have to vanish for a couple minutes here or there. But I'll do our best to have fun, hang out, and play a little Last Epoch. We're hanging out in the old patch still, because it's not the 9th yet, so we're playing the old patch. I'm revisiting some old builds over the last few streams, and we're going back to zombies. We're just gonna do some zombies. Woo! It's a little loud. Let's turn that down a bit. Thank you very much for Web618 for the sub. Glad to have you here. Hope you're having fun. Just started off. Have we must have unlocked empowered, yeah. Let's go do some no zombie makeup? No. Sorry, just a sec. My hair's getting a little out of control here. Let's go! If this is your first time here, glad to have you with us. If you have a question for me, please put at Last Epoch Game in front of the question so I see it pop out at me a real big like. I'll be happy to answer it. And as always, we stream for charity. This month's charity, sorry, is World Neighbors. Glad to be doing something for them, which is cool. Let's actually make a little bit of an army here and go nuts. It's been a while since I played this character. I totally remember how it works. Completely. Definitely have my loot filter on. Sweet. Alright. We're good to go. Oh, 1 LP Calamity. That's neat. Today's build that I'm playing right now is the same build that everyone else can play right now. This is plain Steam. There is nothing different about this from what everyone else is playing. You can go play this right now. Good afternoon, Quiet. How you doing? We're doing pretty good here. It's been a busy week, getting lots done. Dahario! Wow, 22-month resub. That's epic. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Haven't been in the stream for a few months. It's been on and off for, like, we haven't done a lot of streams actually the last month or so, but yeah, it's been good. Been trying to hold up to release. Are we close? We are very close. We are 6 days away, I believe. Next Thursday. Can we expect to get the patch notes at least a few days before 0.9 drops? A few days, yeah. They're not done yet. The changes going into the patch aren't done yet. So like we can't give you patch notes yet because they don't exist. Patch notes are one of those things that we get to a point where we're like, okay, we're not changing anything else, and we're just gonna make sure we're just testing, and like we get a build, and we're like, let's just test everything out of it and make sure it's solid. Oh, we found some tiny little bug. Okay, we'll change that one thing to fix that bug, but that's it. Keep testing. And while that's happening, we polish the patch notes. And there's a lot of departments that get involved with what's going into the game. So there's a lot of different departments that get involved with patch notes and making sure they're accurate and complete. So we do try and get them out as soon as we can. But in order to get as much in the patch as possible, the patch notes end up happening very late in the cycle. So the patch notes will be similar timing as they usually are, which is pretty close to the actual release. And you've seen like huge portions of the changes already in the in the preview events we've had. And there's lots of that info up on like Last Epoch tools and stuff like that too. And you'll see me drinking tea, and I've got tons of water. Daryl! Oh, get to the sub to Action RPG, Aaron. Aaron Action RPG, that's what we got. I said it right first time. Thank you very much for that. I'm sure he will be appreciative. I know he's been pretty pumped about this this patch coming up. Anticipating it for a while, as many of you have. Oh, there he is. Hi, Aaron. How's it going? Did I just miss that from the very start? I did. I just missed that at the very start. Sorry. I'm back. Hello. Playing Necro without Golem? Now we're not fighting. It's the old Golem. You want some of the old Golem here, bro? What kind of message does that send, huh? Won't it be amazing to have finished the multiplayer launch? Oh, this launch has been a long time coming, and I am so excited for it to be released. Like, it's just another level of anticipation for us. This is why I picked a minion build today, because I'm like, I'm gonna be sitting around taking drinks in the middle of this. I finished some plumbing fixes, so I'm feeling good. That's good job, Quiet. Plumbing's an important skill to have. Now time for my propaganda question of the week. Spriggan movement skill leaks yet? No, sorry. We gotta get it right. Shadow Dweller, how's your health, Mike? I feel fine. My nose is trying to set some records for production, though. We'll leave it at that. So Dredge in there, huh? Huh? Next question. Do you guys supply Last Epoch tools with this data, or does he data mine it? He data mines it. We do really want to get to a point where we can work with people making sites like that, because we do know it's a very valuable thing to have for the game. But we have to focus on making the game right now, and yeah, he's got a pretty automated system for it now too. I talk to him every once in a while, not frequently. Very good guy though. Nervous or excited for next week? Yes. No, I'm very excited. I'm more excited than nervous. Actually, I'm pretty confident. What am I talking about? I'm excited. The preview events went great. There were bugs and issues and stuff we had to fix and all that stuff. That's to be expected. I'm pumped. I know it doesn't look like I'm pumped. Like, I'm pumped! Let's go! Sorry. I'm here. Haha. Get well soon. You got this. Thank you very much. I feel like I will. Like, yeah, I feel fine. It's just my body's not done being sick yet, apparently. Just bought this game. It's not a bad game. Awesome. Thank you very much. I hope you're having fun with it, whether it's a bad game or not. That's the most important part. Because you can have fun with bad games, I think. And you can not have fun with good games, I think, too. It's pretty rare for both of those. Who came up with the faction idea? I think it's smart. Our lead designer, Trisoki, was the initial pitch, spearhead of that operation. The person who the post was under. It's funny, both them and I had come up with ideas that we've been sort of like rummaging around with for a system to include trade in the game that were both very different. Mine was terrible by comparison, so let's not talk about what that idea was. But he showed up and he was like, just out of the blue, he's like, guys, I've got an idea. And I'm like, oh, I've been working on one too. And I wasn't quite ready to post it yet. I wasn't finished, had a few kinks and all that sort of stuff. And I'm like, I'm just gonna post it now too, just to see. And we were reading through them both, and we came back to each other, and we're both like, yours is better. Like, to him, his was better. And we ran with it quite fast. All right. Last time I visited the stream, you said there would be seasons leagues. How long after release can we expect the first season to start? I mean, the way it works, I'd kind of argue that 0.9 is the start of the first season, because eventually those characters that are in that initial multiplayer launch will get sent to whatever standard is as the next cycle starts, and we're calling them cycles. So it's, in a way, 6 days. In a way, when's the next one after that going to start? I don't know. Kind of depends how many patches are in between this and 1.0. So there might be another one that starts. The biggest thing that happens with a cycle is the ladder resets, the economy resets. All the characters have to be brand new. You know, like everyone has to start fresh to be involved in the new cycle, but all the old stuff goes to a standard environment, so nothing gets deleted. So it's kind of just like, when's the next ladder reset going to happen? I don't know. By the time we're into like 1.0 launch, it'll be much more regular and predictable. I will say that. But it's just until we're at launch, it's a little more flexible. I don't know what I love about zombies, but I love zombies. Just the like, alright, here you go, I summon you, oh, you're dead. But you took one of them with you, good job. I upgraded my internet speed and hardware for March 9th. Pumped and ready. Nice. I feel like you said you were you moved or something, and there was like a problem with the internet there or something. I don't know. I could be mistaken there, but good. I'm glad. I know it's very beneficial for you. The greater amount of players stream the game. The question is, should I do it if I have literally zero experience with streaming? I mean, the only experience I have with streaming at all, personally, is done while working on this game. I think I once streamed one day as just to see if I could make it happen like 15 years ago or something. Maybe not that long ago, maybe 10 years ago. And yeah, I think it's fun. I don't think there's really a downside to it. If you think it's something you might enjoy, kind of worst case scenario is people just don't watch, or you just turn the stream off. I think it's fun. I'd recommend giving it a shot. It is warm in here. I don't know why I get so much hotter when I'm streaming than normal. But like every time I stream, I have to turn the heat down in my room. Alright. You ready to handle the server load for 0.9? The amount of interest I'm seeing compared to the beta events leading up to it, expect to see major spike in player numbers. I hope so. You confident your servers will be able to keep up, or do you expect them to get overloaded? We've definitely taken steps in the assumption that it will be more populated than the beta events. So we are expecting more, and we are preparing for more people than the beta events. Having said that, it's always possible. Like, there's enough people on the internet that we could be overwhelmed. I mean, we've put elastic systems in place that should, if they work the way they're designed to, should be able to handle it. That's a cool item. I do not remember that item. What is going on? Sick brain talking. I mean, there's always the upside though. Like, we've built systems for it to be able to expand if there's a lot of people that show up. And if there are enough people that show up that crash it, I mean, that's a lot of interest, which would be pretty sweet, you know. But no, I think we'll be fine. That's part of the reason we're doing it like on Thursday instead of Friday, so that we have a little bit of time with there's like a second day before the weekend where people are like scheduled to work and people are on site ready to go. Jisoki to real MVP? Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of us that like worked on it and helped shape it and come up with the fine details with them and everything, but yeah, they definitely it was their idea. Spearheaded that one big time. And very little changed from their initial idea. There were some details that they were just like, when they came up with it, they're like, okay, well, I don't have this detail yet, we'll figure that out. But like, of the details they initially pitched, very little changed. Which is wild. That almost never happens with a big system like that. They've had a very significant hand in most of the things you do and see in Last Epoch. Oh, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the state of mana/rage? Do you feel the recovery and usage are in a good spot? I think in 0.9 they're better than they've ever been. I think this is possibly related to the several to a recent forum post. I think overall it's in a very good spot. I think there's a few key spots where it's still not quite right, and it's more related to specific skills rather than mana regen in general. I think it mostly does a really good job of keeping very large, visually impactful and functionally impactful skills in check from being spammed over the top, while not requiring them to be on crazy long cooldowns. I think that can be a dangerous thing where you get this like ability that's like your ultimate ability, and it's on a 2-minute cooldown, and I think you can get into situations where your entire build focuses around getting that to a point where it's cheap enough, or where the cooldown's small enough that you can use it frequently enough, or you actually end up in situations where you're like, well, I'm gonna wait the 30 seconds before I go to the next pack because my ability's not off cooldown yet. And I think those are not awesome situations to be in frequently. Do we know yet if 1.0 is Cycle 1? No, we don't know that. Can we expect big nerfs? 40%, 50% less damage to skills from 0.9 to 1.0? I don't think so. What? Did that come up somewhere and I missed it? I haven't heard anything about that. I know, internet all clogged up with potatoes. Apparently I'm not supposed to laugh today. Can we expect some improvements for loot filter, like show only affixes relevant to selected item type? No, not yet. We will be taking a shot at the loot filter eventually, and improving the functionality of it, possibly adding more options. But it is for 0.9, sorry, largely unchanged. I think there might be some little changes, but not much. We focused elsewhere. There's a little trick on the arenas. If you just like don't move in the middle, it doesn't start until you actually move. If anyone's interested on what I was doing. Can you share some more details on new supporter packs that come with 0.9? I can't. Sorry. On what time is the 0.9 launch? I don't know. If I were a betting man, I would probably guess that the patch will launch at a relatively similar time to the last like dozen patches we put out, which is morning North America time, so that we have the most people around to help with problems and jump on solutions. So there's, yeah. Oh! This is bad. This is very bad. Okay, now here's where I would love to have the ability to move all of my minions with transplant. I wonder if we can add that. Spoiler alert, we did for the next patch, just in case anyone missed that joke. I think I'm funny in my head, but you know. Alright, full patch notes available yet? Nope, not yet. I plan on having 16 golem team to melt servers. I mean, 16 golems is way easier for us to deal with than whatever 60 skeletons can show up. So, yeah, go for it. It's part of why I like your items so much, Aaron. Cuts down on the number of minions total. Ha ha ha! Played right into our hands. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh man, the last Q&A? No, 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 no. Why? Why would it be last Q&A? No. We don't have a set time where we'll stop doing this. There's a possibility that we might slow down the rate of these post 1.0. But I personally have no intention of stopping this. I love doing this. It's great. It's 2 hours a week. It's not that much time. Yeah. I don't know why I'm even looking at gear. I have no idea what my gear is on this character. It's been so long since I've touched it. I haven't even turned this character on since the last time I streamed this, which was months ago. I agree with your take on the mana stuff, by the way. I also feel like it's fine. I have no idea about forum posts. Oh, there was a forum post recently about it. That there's a couple of them recently, that's all. It's cool. What happened to the 5th Shaman ability? It's not in yet. Shaman's got... Okay, what's gonna happen? Shaman's got one new ability that's missing. Tempest Strike's getting a pretty significant... This is not 0.9. This is post 0.9, by the way. So post 0.9, Shaman will get its 5th ability. Tempest Strike's getting an extremely significant rework as to the role it fills, the functionality it has, what it does, how it does it, everything. The general theming will be similar. That's about it. And the name. And then a new ability is going to come in to take the role of Tempest Strike. How's your sleep schedule looking for this week? I have been sleeping more this week than I have slept in months. Mostly because I'm sick and I'm just like, well, body's shutting down at 9 p.m. Let's go to sleep. No, I've been very lucky to actually strike a decent work balance lately, which has been very nice. Very happy. It's been a lot of long hours, but, you know, nowhere near as bad as it has been in the past. The filter's so old, but I just keep seeing items that are like a different color. I'm like, oh, maybe this is something that I said I would really want before, and they've always been terrible. Can you share what is the design concept around Warlock? All I can really say, and this is the same thing I've always said, is the like touchstone theming is like Jafar, more of a dark sorcerer feeling. You should get an extra golem now? No, sorry, that's not how it works. Too bad. It's already going to be really strong. What about improving targeting when trying to buff allies' minions? For example, it's close to impossible to cast Dreadshade on Golem if there's another minion around. Allowing to buff by clicking on minion icon, for example, can solve the problem. We don't have any plans for that at the moment. There's some issues with that we came into. We tried to do it a little while ago, and there was some problems with it. We know there's some issues there. We don't have a solution yet. What happens with the like cursor system is it's actually constantly changing what you can hover over every frame, which I know sounds weird. Well, what are your plans for an achievement system probably after 1.0? There are some loose plans for an achievement system. We don't know what that's going to be specifically yet, but there will be something. Hello, Mike. It's nice to see you again. Do you know, and can you say if there's a buff or nerfs for 0.9 plan that we didn't see in the events already? Yeah, lots. Can we expect any armor model uplifts? Certainly rogue body armors make the girl look like she's pregnant. I don't know if you've seen many pregnant people. Maybe I'm just not seeing the armors that it looks like that in. I'll take. I hadn't seen that. There are new item sets and armor models coming into the game that haven't been seen yet for 0.9. I know at least one of them is on Rogue too, and it looks sweet. We may have teased it on stream. I don't know. I've also been gone for a while. The new gear look released. Is there a new gear look released? The 9th. So 6 days. Oh! It's okay. You were saying stop working on shaman builds. Gotcha. I mean, I would avoid Tempest Strike focused builds, but I mean they're kind of crap anyways right now, right? They'll come back. They'll come back. Don't worry, they'll come back. No, we had one of the VFX lead VFX guy for skill and like skill design, enemy design guy. He showed up. He's like, I've been working on a concept for Tempest Strike lately, and it was really different, and tossed it up and played around with it a bit, and we're like, well, that's awesome. So now we have to make up a new skill to take Tempest Strike's spot. And it means we can give it speed scaling. Because the current version of Tempest Strike can't have speed scaling. Which is the big problem with it, because everyone wants it to go faster. Those are res. Oh, our poison res. Oh, we're poison, so it's pretty low. But still, it's only 36 by base. Oh, boy. We might have to do a little crafting to get our poison res up if we're going to keep doing this. What is this build? This is a volatile zombie. Oh my god, our Dreadshade's completely unspecialized. Oh boy, I haven't been using it much, but still. We're not doing too bad for a powered bottomless on a 93 with a despecialized skill. Good build is good, huh? Huh? What am I talking about here? I'll go over it when I'm out of a monolith that can just kill me because it feels like it. In case no one's asked, how about a spoiler? Sure! No one's asked yet. I'll give a spoiler as soon as I'm done this echo. I'll toss up a spoiler and fix my build. Which will likely just be me putting random points and stuff until it's used. XP? Alright. Why is release not 1.0? Well, we figure a lot of people will. Okay, part of the reason is we're not done a lot of the features that we would consider core to complete the game. For example, 3 masteries are still missing. Some masteries are missing skills. Our endgame's not finished. Like there's a few key elements that were like the game's not what we consider something that we'd be like. Say you were gonna release the game in, like, we're not gonna do this, but say you were gonna release the game as like a box title and put it on shelves. I knew that was coming. Sorry. Say you were gonna put this game as like a proper old school box release, put it on the shelves at Best Buy, all that sort of stuff, which would be pretty cool. But you know, you'd have to get the game to a point where you were happy putting it on that shelf and someone taking it home in that state and playing with it and not updating it, not patching it, and it's a game that you're like, great, have it, play with it, have fun. We're not there yet. And 1.0 is the first point that will feel like, hey, this is it's a product that is complete, but we're not finished with it. So there'll still be room to grow, room to add new things, keep developing it, keep designing it, keep expanding on what we've built. But that will be the first point that we feel like this is a complete product that we can confidently say, hey, if you want something, and you can, and that's also the point where we can say like, hey, you can expect certain standards from this. So we say like, at the 1.0 launch, we're like, hey, there's a certain expectation of bug concentration when you're in early access. That's a little bit more acceptable, we think. Not that we want any bugs, we try and get rid of all of them, but we're a little less concerned, like a little less concerned's the wrong word, because we're still concerned about them, but like tripping over my words a bit here. It's a little less something. I'm sorry. Let's get a spoiler up so I can regain my composure. Yeah, look at this guy. I know we've teased little bits of this, but here's, I believe, this one's not actually going to be coming. I don't think this is actually even included in 0.9, but it will be soon. Just doing a little Tread Shade, generic buffs, trying not to crank the mana cost too high, actually reducing the mana cost, increasing the area. Yeah, that's a good node. There we go. Show you what I did. Just slap some stuff together. Not optimal. Have some fun with it. Quickly go through the other things if you want to take screenshots to see the build I'm doing. Very old build. Check our passes real quick. Couple points in Lich. Rest of the Necromancer. Boom, boom. Alright. Well, we failed 2 in a row. Let's see if we can get back on track. Death equals league. Yeah, got there. 50k CCU at launch. Ooh, boy. That'll be fun. Is multiplayer this weekend? No multiplayer this weekend. 6 days from now. 1.0 is just the beginning. Yeah, that's what we say internally. 1.0 is just the beginning. I'll have your energy about this game. The passion really translates to the game state and gameplay. IDK the last time I saw devs talking about their game being this excited. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm a little subdued compared to normally if you're not used to the stream, because I'm really sick still. But the Buckley's is kicking in. Let's actually use our Dreadshade now, Mike, that you've just buffed it like crazy. Feel my wrath is right. Yeah, if you do have any questions, if I missed a question, I apologize. I'm like basically caught up now. I've got a couple here that I'm going to read, but if you do have a question for me, please put at Last Epoch Game in the question, and I'll be happy to answer it. There's also a possibility I might cut this off a little early, or I might take a break in the middle. I'll probably take a break in the middle. Just because I can already feel myself struggling a bit. Is there going to be a character wipe for 1.0? Depends on how you view character wipes. So I explain this sometimes, people go, well, that's a character wipe. And sometimes I explain this, people go, well, that's not a character wipe. So maybe. We don't plan on deleting any characters. All of the characters that are created offline and playing offline since before 0.9 patch will stay offline. They're saved on your computer. They'll still be saved on your computer. after 0.9, you'll still be able to make offline characters, and they'll still stay on your computer. And we're not going to delete files off your computer. So, there you go. That's offline. As far as online characters created before the 0.9 launch date, 6 days from now, on March 9th in the beta events, those will not be playable when the multiplayer launches on March 9th. So March 9th is fresh characters. I know I'm kind of doing more than what your question asked, but I just want to cover all the bases. Any character created between 0.9 and 1.0 will get rolled into a standard league. So we're calling them cycles, not leagues. So standard cycles. So there's a new cycle will start at 1.0, and anyone who wants to participate in the ladder at the start of 1.0 will have to make a new character. So there won't be any advantage other than experience and knowledge to playing before 1.0. But if you are playing before 1.0 and want to keep playing that character, you can. We're talking multiplayer, so all this is online. Even if you're playing solo online, same thing. So if you want to make an online character, or play your 0.9 online character after 1.0 launches, you can. It just will not be eligible to participate in the ladder. So you'll have to make new characters if you want to be on the ladder post 1.0. So it's like, if we're talking like Diablo 2 terms, 0.9 characters become non-ladder characters, and 1.0 characters are ladder characters. Like that's, and as the new cycle starts, all the ladder characters go to non-ladder, and you start new ladder characters. Like this is a pretty standard system that you see across most ARPGs these days that are online. So we're not trying to break any major conventions there. We think it's a pretty good system and works decently well for most players. Oh, we're chugging away. Oh, Avalanche, run! Dread shit on a zombie. Good job, Mike. You know what we're gonna do? Sweet. Let's clean up some of the ground items. I hope that explained the is there going to be character wipe for 1.0 question. If you have more follow-up questions, please feel free to ask. Can you comment on why you guys decided to make items non-resellable after trading, and why not just put a favor cost to resell them? Love the Factions idea, by the way. Part of this is to avoid market manipulation. Part of it's to avoid encouraging market play exclusively as a game mode. We really want to emphasize that even if you're playing Merchant's Guild, you're still spending a very significant chunk of time playing the game. You're still when I say playing the game, like obviously using the Bazaar is still playing the game, but like you're still going out into the world, you're still killing monsters, you're still finding new loot. The Bazaar is more of a method to give value to items that you don't want, that you find that are good, and a method by which you can obtain really specific items that you need that you just can't find. And less of a way to like have an economy. And there's still going to be an economy, so it's a bad way to phrase it. But less of a way to sorry. We really don't want to encourage people to just sit in the Bazaar and play the economy. And we know that this is a game mode that like a play style that some people do like. And we knew that when we were making a trade system, and we were making like the item faction system, and we're doing this, we knew that there would be some restrictions that certain people wouldn't like, and would be too restrictive for some people still. And we're trying to make things as accessible and fun and engaging and enjoyable to as many people as we can. And we know that we can't hit everyone's desires with this. And if that was a playstyle you were really looking forward to, I'm sorry. We're not like nothing's set in stone. It's not built yet or anything. But I would be very surprised if that changed. Very surprised. progress for point 9 regarding the feeling glued to the floor, unresponsiveness, and inability to kite mobs while attacking. I can't give you specific details of what was done to help this. But basically, the way we were handling movement was not ideal, and we knew that going in, and we're still working on making it even closer to ideal. But yeah, there's improvements that have come to that, and more improvements that I'm sure will happen later. It's very tricky to do what we want to do with movement and have it feel good. I guess is the easiest way to put that. There's some under the hood stuff that I don't understand fully that's causing problems. Which is why there's smarter people than me working to fix it. Alright, plans for healing hands from Paladin, and thank you for all you do to ESG and keep up the good work. Thanks, bud. Appreciate that. Yes, we do have plans for it. It will get a skill tree. It'll be 1.0 at the latest. At 1.0, all classes will have the same number of total skills. All masters will have the same total number of skills. They'll all have skill trees. The only skill that's in the game now that's not planned to be a skill at 1.0 is Ice Thorns. I think that's true. I'm like 99% sure that's true. This is me going through all the skills in my head. Yeah, that's right. Vision! Welcome back. Resub for 8 months in a row. Thank you very much. Glad to have you with us. There's a race. Like Vision. Something I was just reading this morning about that, wasn't there? What was that? There's a race. Announcement went out this morning. I think Vision and Foe were the ones that were running races before. I think you're either heavily involved or just running it this time too. I don't know. Sorry, I haven't been involved with that part of it. I saw the announcement this morning. I'm like, that's sweet. It's a solo softcore race to kill all 3 T4 dungeon bosses the fastest. Like 85-95% sure on that one. Please correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. Gotta go chug some NyQuil. Not if I want to be alert enough to stream. Or fix bugs. I have 1 critical bug left to fix, and 2 minor bugs left to fix. Hopefully by the end of the day today, after the stream's over. Got a good lead on the critical one, which is good. I don't know why I just don't transplant. Okay, use Dreadshade. Activate. It's got awesome abilities now. Next question. That's what I'm doing right. I'm reading questions. Can you change your mind and launch 0.9 tomorrow instead of 3.9 since I'm impatient? I don't think I am physically capable of changing my mind, though. I'm pretty sure I'm not capable of changing my mind. But if I was, I would change my mind about that. But I'm not, so I can't. I also don't have control over it. Sorry. Well, still here. Will there ever be any mana potions available? Ooh, very unlikely. Question. This is a tricky part though. Every time I see a question like, "Will there ever be this?" Oh, maybe. I don't know, man. I hope I'm still doing this in 10 years. It's a long time for stuff to change. Will there be mana potions by 1.0? No. I can say that with very high degree of confidence. Will there be mana potions at 1.5? Almost zero chance. Some pretty dramatic stuff would have to change for us to add mana potions. But I'm not a big fan of like being absolute on questions like that, because there's things that have changed that I like. 3 years ago, if you asked me if it was going to happen, I'd be like, nah, no chance. And it did. Please don't ask for an example. I don't have any off the top of my head. Yes, thank you. You're welcome. I don't remember what the question was. Will you ever add a glyph or some item to use an unspec a point or a skill not to have to relevel a skill up? A glyph to do that? No, because glyphs are always items. Like glyphs are always used on items. An item to do that? I'd be pretty shocked. It undermines the entire reason we have the releveling system. Like completely undermines the entire reason we have the leveling system. So like, if at the instant we add that item, we might as well just take the whole releveling system out, type thing. So like, chances of that happening are pretty darn low. Yeah. So, same disclaimer as last question on the whole absolutes thing and never and time and yada yada yada. But yeah. So while I was playing the campaign, I'd TP to town and lose my minions. I think that was a bug. But when I use a shrine back to town, I wouldn't. Is this intended? No, that sounds like a bug to me. Have you explored the idea of the player being able to augment a certain ability with the Epoch's power in some way? I mean, we've talked about things like that. It's such an integral story point. And like, technically, please don't try this because it will take you forever. Technically, you can keep gaining experience up to super high levels in super low level areas. It just takes forever because there's a level cap differential. So if you're like I guess being up, it's just super low because it's low. Like you kill a level 1 enemy as a level 90 something and you get like basically no experience. It's an insignificant amount of experience. I don't know what the actual. I don't think we actually show experience. Oh, we do. Yeah, like you're in the millions of experience here, and getting 10 experience is completely insignificant. So you could level to like, I guess it doesn't matter if you're talking about an item that would do this. Probably not. Because as soon as you do it to one skill, you can't do it to all skills, you know what I mean? I don't want Frenzy and Haste on them. It's gross. You're expecting me to say Warpath? I don't know what that was for, sorry. You know what? Okay, guys. I'm going to take a brief break here. Here's what I'm going to do. Give me a sec. I've just slapped a new spoiler over the "We'll be right back" screen. So I'm gonna take a brief break. I'm sorry. I just need like 5 minutes. I'll be right back. I promise. I'm sorry. Uh, and in the meantime, I'm gonna leave you with this new splash art, which will be available eventually on our website. Hopefully. I'll be right back. Sorry. And we're back. Ba-boom. Sorry about that, everybody. Hello. get right back in and answer some more questions. Are there any changes coming to Warpath? I don't know. I'm sorry. Are there going to be paid expansions like box expansions, or is it going to be more like PoE where you are bigger patches than 4 smaller expansions per year? Yeah, I would. It's going to be more like PoE style where there's like large patches that have content that come with them and reset the cycle more regularly. That won't have. We really want to avoid, one of the big things we want to do is we want to avoid having a situation where you're playing with a buddy, or maybe it's like a friend, both of you played Last Epoch before, but you haven't played in like, one of them, like your friend hasn't played in 6 months, but you kept playing, and they want to hop back in, and you're like, oh, okay, let's play together, and then you're like, well, you gotta go buy these 3 expansions in order to play with me again. Oh, what am I doing? we don't want to split the community based on who's bought what expansion. Unique belt, which gives a chance to drop mana potions but prevents ailment cleansing. Nope. You just have nowhere to put them in the UI. It's impossible to add it. How hard did you high five after seeing the reactions to the trade solution? I mean, if we were in the same physical space as each other, it would have been a real big high five. But we're all remote, so no high fives were had. But virtual high fives were very, very exuberant. Now, we haven't had a post that the reactions were that positive to. Like, the ratio of positive comments was that high in so long. Like, it was unreal. And like I know it's not 100% and it's not a perfect system and everything, but like it felt really good. So if you came and left a positive comment on that post, you made my day that day. Okay, let's keep going. This thing hurts a lot. Lightning elemental of loathing. I'm getting the loathing part. Alright. Oh, let's get the energy back. Here we go. I'm an avid gamer and software dev. Awesome. That's great. But I don't know anything about game dev, specifically. That's fine. Can you share some stories, methodologies about bug tracking in Last Epoch? I mean, bug tracking is really similar in games and regular software dev. Like, there's very little difference, I think. It's really important to have I'm not in charge of the bug tracking systems. So it's other people like manage and handle that a lot more than I do. So I do not have in-depth knowledge on the way that's handled specifically, but I can give you sort of general ideas on how I interact with that. It's really important to have people that are organizing that, and I mean it depends on the scale of the operation as well. So if it's large enough that you have people that are dedicated to that, having someone organize those and being able to how to put this, being able to track specifically which bugs are the same bug is really important. So you don't have multi-tracked, like the same bug tracked multiple times is really important. Being able to have a system that's really well organized and have a system that's able to link those bugs to the solutions when they get created. So we use GitHub and a lot of the tools that come with that to track a lot of bugs. We get a lot of bugs reported from our community, and we try and make sure those come in through forum posts. because we can track those forum posts, and we can close forum posts, and we can link forum posts together, and we can link forum posts in our GitHub tracking, like our issue tracking system in GitHub, things like that. And that's really important. Having those things automated and linked together is really useful. So you can say like you make a pull request, and that pull request has it is automatically linked to a specific issue in GitHub. Sorry, a GitHub issue that will automatically close that issue when the PR is merged, and things like that. So like having these things intrinsically linked and automated as much as you can is really useful. And having the input from your users be trackable is really useful as well, which is why we get a lot of bug reports on Discord, and every time we're just like, go to the forums, go to the forums. We can't handle it here. Go to the forums, and it's just because we can't keep track of them on Discord. Yeah, we have a fantastic QA team that handles a lot of that stuff. They do a great job of it. So, Avalanche. You see physical and cold. You tell it's Avalanche. Okay, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna take a second, see if we can upgrade any of our gear, see if we can craft a little bit on it, because we're getting our butts kicked. Maybe we've got some. Was my army just dead and I just didn't notice? Okay, is there anything of forging potential? 0, 0, 0, 0. 11! Just. Here we go, Elirez. Wait a second. Why do I not have any crafting materials? Is this a solo character? I totally deleted my stash. Oh, I know exactly when I did that too. I know exactly when I did that. That's hilarious. Oh, yep. Sometimes I do things that are not so smart. Oh, 1 forging potential. That's something. Poison res. Yeah, we need that more. Oh, free physical res, crit success. Boom, go right to T5. That's what I'm talking about. Alright, better than nothing. I was testing some stuff with stash saves, and I know exactly. Like, I've got it backed up and everything, so I'll be fine. But I can't do it right now. That's funny. Can we expect wings in the cosmetic store at some point? There are. So I don't know all the plans for all the things that are coming to the cosmetic store. There is one item that I know is coming to one of the bundle packs in the future that looks suspiciously similar to wings, and I don't know if I'd quite classify it as wings or not. So maybe some people will look at that and go, wings, obviously, and some people will look at that and go, not wings, no. So, we'll see. That time rift wormhole effect could be sort of baked into the loading screen itself with slideshow effect. So, we used to have it baked into the loading screen itself, and it gets to a point. When we had it baked into the loading screen, so there's no true asynchronous loading. And so there is a point where it freezes no matter what. And when you hit that point on that screen, it looks like the game has crashed, even though it hasn't. It's just loading. And when we had it baked into the loading screen, it was only baked into the loading screen for like 2 days. But in those 2 days, we got more reports of people crashing the game during loading screens than I think we have since combined. And like it was just a flood of them all the time. And we're like, it didn't crash, and the loading screens were a little bit longer than two. So like, and especially that loading screen was really long. But it was, we're like, just wait the extra 30 seconds. I promise you, it's fine. And they're like, no, it crashed. I had to let it go. And we're like, it didn't crash. And there was also a problem at that point where alt tabbing in the middle of the loading screen at like a certain point could cause it to crash. So it's like, it's going through that effect. It stops. Someone alt tabs to see if it crashes, and the effect of alt tabbing was it crashed. So it's like I alt tabbed and it had crashed, and it was just a mess. So we had to decouple them. Oh, get out of there. One day we hope to have that be a loading screen. I think we may have taken the effect out for now. I don't know exactly what happened with it. But we need proper asynchronous loading to bake it into the loading screen, basically. And like asynchronous loading, what that means is loading the elements of the next scene while you're still doing something else, and the something else is playing that video clip. So there is motion on the loading screen now in the form of, there's a little probably seen it in the beta events. This little like diamond like loading like thing that happens, and so that's now in the bottom corner of the loading screen. So you do see stuff happening, and that does freeze at part of the time, but it kind of like stutters instead of freezing completely. It's the other way, isn't it? Yeah, I guess we're going back. Can we get a Last Epoch Con and have it in Las Vegas? Please and thank you. I'd love to do something like that. I think that'd be so cool. I think we need to be a little bit bigger game for a little bit longer before we actually did something like that. But I love going to conventions. We did quite a few conventions pre-pandemic. Once that's over, I'm sure we'll be going back out to them again. But there's also, I guess, if anyone's wondering, this is not COVID. I've tested myself so many times. Pro at testing, taking so many different types of tests. Definitely not. Dodged that bullet so far. Still being careful though. Anyways, then conventions. Yeah, we did like we did a few. We did LTX. We did bigger ones. Mind blank on which conventions we did. PAX. That's the one. We did a few PAX. Those are great. We did PAX in Texas right before the pandemic happened. That was so much fun. Yeah. We did Seattle too. Seattle PAX West. I'd love to go back out to some conventions. That was so much fun. It's so tiring. It's so much work. Oh, it's so much fun. It's so worth it. Like just getting to see people play the game, because we are a remote studio, getting to see each other is really great. Getting to see people playing the game is so cool. Getting to just talk to players about it that are just they walk up and they're like, I've never seen this before. This looks cool, and you get to talk about it. It's just fun. So yeah, I love that. Huh. Man, I want to do conventions again, apparently. All right. If I'm playing Merchant's Guild and my friend is playing Circle of Fortune, I'm so surprised there hasn't been more item faction questions, which I'm fully prepped to answer all of those, by the way. So, okay, if I'm playing Merchant's Guild and my friend is playing Circle of Fortune, will I be able to buy an item on the bazaar and donate it to him using residence? Yes. However, big asterisk there with the yes. The item will have a Merchant's Guild faction requirement rank. So the item will say like how the sentence says requires level 7. Below that requires level 7, it'll say requires Merchant Guild rank 4, let's say. Just as an example, it might not be 4, but let's just say it's 4. And so you give it to your Circle of Fortune friend with residence, and it still has that requirement because you can't remove requirements from items. And so they are not Merchant's Guild rank 4, so they can't use it. If they then switch to Merchant's Guild, rank up to rank 4, they could then use it. But the active applying a residence to it does not remove the rank requirement. So that rank requirement is just like a level requirement, and think of it just like that. I hope that helps. If also, don't forget, if you have questions that you want me to answer, please put at Last Epoch Game in the questions so I see it pop out. I think I just saw one that was meant to go to me that didn't have that, so I'll answer it anyways. Will there be visual updates to skill trees to more closely show what particular node will do? There's certain mistakes in certain nodes that what we've done in this patch is since last patch, we've literally checked every single node in the game, and we may have missed some still, but we have gone through and checked every single node and cross-referenced the effect in-game, not just what we think it should do based on the code, but the actual effect in-game from what the description says, and we've either updated the functionality or the description to match so that they are the same. So there should be far fewer discrepancies there. There will likely still be some, but it should be a lot better now. Ooh, mana regen's sweet in this build. Yeah. So I'm a thirsty bit. Necromancer. Yeah. So there's different. There will be more accurate descriptions. As far as how it's displayed, it's still displayed the same. Like those tooltip stylings hasn't changed. If you're looking for more like adaptive tooltips to say like so that it recognizes the changes in other nodes in the tree so the tooltip changes, we're not planning on doing that. That would be pretty sweet, but that's a little that would be a little insane if we were ever going to try and which we are trying to do, localize the game and have translations for things like nodes, skill nodes, which is already a Herculean task. Will the account reset make it in time for 0.9? Sorry, I don't know what that is. Please explain. Quite, I feel like that's something that I just missed. Sometimes I do things that are not so smart, like face-taking avalanche. Yeah. In-game chat could use some curating. There's drama going on right now. Sorry, I am. I don't think what I'm playing on right now actually has moderation powers in chat. And I'd rather not turn it on stream in case it is pretty bad. But someone who is capable of that might be listening. If you can check that, that'd be great. Thanks, please. Let's actually look at the screen instead of just chat. Will the formulas for item rarity calculation be made public at some point? Like I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. Probably not. But if we're talking about, if you hit me out with more details on what you mean by that, like chance of an item being a specific rarity when it drops. Oh! Trolls has donated 1,000 bits to cheer, counting down the magical day. I'm on 6 now. Thank you very much. That sound happened, and I'm like, what is that sound? But thank you. That's cool. Appreciate that. Okay. Any plans for PvP eventually? Yes, not 0.9, no. Will there be other factions down the line? Not just for trading. So yeah, it's we try and use the term item factions rather than trading factions, because it's the item factions will just be these 2 factions, and they'll be focused around modifying how you obtain items in the game. So we're not planning on adding a 3rd item faction, but we are planning on adding more factions that will, and we still don't have details on how exactly this will work out, but the current plan, which could very much change, is that the future factions will be similar to the item factions in the sense that they are mutually exclusive with each other. So we might add like a new pair of factions that are each mutually exclusive with each other, but are not mutually exclusive with the item factions. So you'd be like, pick one of the item factions and pick one of the something else factions, and so you can be part of 2 factions simultaneously, but not part of 2 item factions, and not part of 2 of the something else factions. I hope that makes sense. Maybe there'll be and just literally just making this up on our own. Maybe there'll be a leveling faction, and it'll change the way you gain experience in the game, or change the way you level, or something. I don't know. Are you guys ready for Zizaran and his horde to come in on the 9th? Oh, I love it. Let's go. Account reset tool Kane. Oh, yeah. Kane was talking about the account reset tool. Right. Thank you, quite. Sorry, I completely forgot about that. Yes, because the SSF change that's happening. So, for anyone that doesn't know, the currently in solo, when you have a solo character, all of your items and everything is linked to that specific character. So it's a character found solo experience. We're changing online when online launches to be an account found solo experience. So you're saying I'm playing solo means that me as a person on my account, I'm playing alone. And part of the change for this was mostly focused around how there's no advantage to playing multiple characters on a solo account, if that makes any sense. Like, you don't gain a power boost by sharing those items from character to character. Really, it's the most powerful way to do it if you're gonna just look at powers to play one character, because you can you don't split your progress, split your time that you're progressing on to multiple characters. But it does take a hit for race events, because you can't. It's not a completely fresh start for everyone. So I think we're building a temporary tool to help with that, because we do want to have race style events be possible, and there are still we haven't completely removed the backend functionality to have characters found locked solo experiences. But if we release 0.9 with a character found locked solo experience, and want to add an account found solo experience, which we think is the more widespread use for it, it will cause either very large headaches in data migration or massive amounts of data loss of players' items and such. So we're kind of heading off that problem at the pass and switching it now, so we don't have to deal with that problem in the future. That's a cool item. I like it. And Quiet, I'm sorry, you'll have to ask Kane on that one. I don't know. Will 0.9 count as the first cycle? Will everyone have to start a fresh character stash? Kind of yes. So no one has access to any characters that they've created in the 0.85 F or before patch, because those are all offline characters. Offline characters will not be transitioned to the online environment. Anyone that played in the multiplayer beta events that were previews for 0.9, those characters are existing in a different environment and will not be available when 0.9 drops. So there's no one has a fresh start. So no one has a jump start. Everyone has a fresh start. So that's why earlier I mentioned it's kind of like having this is like 0.9 is kind of the start of the first cycle because everyone's starting from scratch. Not even staff are getting jump starts, guys. Pretty much the diminishing returns part. I'm sorry, I don't know what that question was referring to. Hi, we had a chance to try multiplayer last weekend. Wonderful, hope that went well. Don't know if you covered this topic very much yet, but do you have a status for multiplayer game experience stability, i.e. disconnect, can't continue story through zones together without dropping out? Yeah, there's been big improvements for that, especially when we first, at the start of the open beta weekend test, the open beta test where anyone had access to, there was several brand new bugs that we were shocked that showed up. And we've got fixes for those. I think a lot of people hit them and kind of bounced off it, which was really unfortunate. But those have been fixed. And there's not perfect 100% stability with 0 disconnects. That would be amazing. But it is much better than the first few moments of that event went. If I decided I wanted to swap from Fortune's Guild from Circle of Fortune to Merchant's Guild and respec into Merchant's Guild, does that mean all the gear will become unusable due to no longer being Fortune rank 4? Yes. The gear you obtain, so any gear you obtain by way of a item factions bonus. So what that means is if your Circle of Fortune item drops, that item was influenced by your Circle of Fortune bonus. So that item receives a Circle of Fortune rank. Or if you're playing as the Merchant's Guild and you get an item through the Bazaar, that item was obtained through your item factions bonus, so it receives an item faction rank requirement. Any items obtained through either of those methods receive the appropriate item faction rank requirement. Item faction rank requirements cannot be changed or removed. If you switch factions, you no longer are that other old faction and can't use that item anymore because you're not that rank. It's kind of like if you de-leveled your character, you would no longer be that level and you couldn't use that item anymore. You can go back, and faction ranks are account bound, so you don't lose those ranks. Those ranks stay hidden, and you can go get them back again. You just can only be currently representing one faction or the other. So in order to use an item that is Circle of Fortune rank 4, you must have attained Circle of Fortune rank 4 or more on your account, and your character must be currently representing Circle of Fortune. I think I said that all right. I don't think I actually messed up any words there. I might have. I hope not. Will there be anything in 0.9 that has not been announced or was testable? Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's skill and item changes that went in today that are... There's a big merging that happened today, actually, that I was pretty hyped on. So, yeah, there's some stuff still. No major systems, though. Just, like, new gear, visuals, stat changes on items, some rebalancing, stuff like that. Will we be able to romanticize the NPCs in 1.0? Nah, I don't think so. Not that type of game. Hey, you want to write some fanfic? You go right ahead. Imagination is a wonderful thing. Are there more uniques coming in 0.9? Yep. What about the question of the item rarity? About the question of the item rarity formula, would the diminishing return part be made public? Like diminishing return on item rarity percentage? Honestly, I don't know what that formula is off the top of my head, so I don't think we'll ever actually post what that formula is. We might, but not today. What's going to be the party size? 4. Love the game, but it's been hard freezing on startup for the last couple of days. Uh-oh. Probably on my end, but have you heard anything like this on this? Not specifically, and I'm sorry I can't help you with support stuff right now. I will tell you one thing. Delete your graphics.ini file. There's a graphics setting.ini file for the game, specifically the Last Epoch one. You can find out where that file is located on our support site. And it will auto-regenerate a new one. That's quite often the cause when it crashes round boot. Streamer help Nightbot, it's saying Charity of Salvation Army. Oh no! Oh no! I mean, I could change that. We've only got 27 minutes left. I'll change it for next stream, I'm sorry. Our charity's the one above my head, not the one Nightbot says. Nightbot's crazy. It's drunk. You're drunk, Nightbot. Go home. I like your beard. Thank you. I like my beard too. It's soft. Does that mean all gear dropped while Circle of Fortune will have a Circle of Fortune rank requirement since Circle of Fortune affects all drops? Yes. Wouldn't that make it very impractical to build a count rep for both factions on one character? Yes. It is not designed, the system is not designed for you to play both factions. The system is designed for you to pick which playstyle you prefer and go for it. It's also designed with some... the reason we have switching in the game is more in case you start playing one and you decide that that's not for you and you want to switch. Or maybe you're playing one a bunch and a friend starts playing and they're playing the other one. And they're like, maybe you're not sure which one you want to play, so you pick one and a friend starts playing and they really want to play the other one. And you're like, okay, fine, I'll come play the other one with you. Then you can switch. And it's not like, I'll start your character over again. We're trying to just make the... make it not be a permanent choice. But it is still... The system is not designed to encourage switching. There's no way to get an efficiency boost by switching. It's actually less efficient to switch. So it's really... The system is designed such that you are like, hey, I want trade. I'm going to play Merchant Skill. Hey, I don't want trade. I'm going to play Circle of Fortune. And like... Ideally, that's the end of the decision-making process. Like that should be it. If we've done our jobs right, that's the whole decision-making process. And I know it's not that simple. And I know that there's going to be a big debate on which one's technically more powerful, and the decision's going to be which one's better. That's the one I'm going with. Define better. Okay, define better. It's the one that you can acquire items faster in. Okay, now there's going to be a bunch of analysis on which one's acquiring items faster. And fair enough, and one of them will end up being more powerful than the other. And we've worked in a ton of dials to adjust them and bring them closer to each other where we can. And we know that they'll never be perfectly equal, and we're not going to try and make them perfectly equal. But we are going to try and keep them in the same ballpark as each other, where people who are less concerned about playing absolutely optimally, the decision for them will be... do I want trade or not? And that'll be the end of it. And people who are interested in playing absolutely optimally will probably take a much closer look at it. And that's fine. We understand that. But we hope to get as many people in the do I want trade or not as the decision-making linchpin as possible. I mean, at 300 corruption versus 800 corruption, is there any diminishing returns in how much effect the rarity have on drops? I don't know, I'm sorry. I got a ping. Hello, Tiger's Eye 120. How you doing? Glad to have you with us. Hope you're having fun. Hanging out, relaxing. If you've got a pool, you can be outside a pool. Hope there's no kids making trouble in your neighborhood. Don't get in any fights. Your mom might get scared. But then you get to move in with your auntie and uncle. Sweet house in Bel Air. So you know, it's not all bad. Alright, I found a post on Discord about multiplayer drops being the same quantity as single player on a per kill basis. Is this correct? If so, do you think that the remaining benefits are enough to keep multiplayer active? Yes. Yeah, like, so there's all drops are instanced. So when an enemy dies in single player or multiplayer, the same formula gets run to see if that item, that character, that kill would drop an item for you or not. So on average, the items you'll get on single player and multiplayer should be the same. Yeah. What about people who want to occasionally trade when they find something really good but not base their character around it? Have you considered adding an ultra rare item that removes the faction requirement from an item? We have considered that. We are not doing that. However, we did add in resonance. If you want detailed information about this, there's a sweet post on our forums that I will link in chat, but I will explain it all right now. Actually, if someone else can do it, that'd be great. But if not, it's one of the biggest posts on our forums right now. Anyways, so right now we do have 0.9. So 0.9 will launch with the item gifting system. Lone Star McFluffin! 22 months in a row. Pew, 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 pew. Awesome. Oh, I also missed, I guess, this happened while I was away. This is, Captain Gordog 54, thank you for the resub, or for the sub. And Captain Gordog 54, thank you for gifting a sub to LB Haxor. Awesome. I feel like I recognize those names. Those aren't resubs. Weird. Anyways, Lone Star McFluffin, 22 months. That's epic. Thank you very much. Glad to have you with us. Quiet, 12 months. Oh my god, forgot I had Prime. Oh! Ah! Here we go. Let's go. Anyways, what am I talking about? I'm talking about trade. I'm talking about rare item, ultra rare item gifting stuff. So 0.9 is going to come with the item gifting system we initially announced a little while back, and that's not changed. So that item gifting post, all that's still true. What this means is it's essentially Diablo 3 trading. So if you are, and you and your friend are playing together and item drops for either one of you, that person can just give it to the other person. And it doesn't have to be while you're physically playing with each other still. It can be later after the fact. You can still gift it to them. A lot of the feedback we got on this was people saying, okay, great, but I don't always play with my friends. Most of the time I play with my friends, but every once in a while I'm playing on my own. Or maybe one friend is not hanging out that day and not playing with us, and will be, El Perabro! El Ferro Barbaro! Oh my god, I just butchered that so bad. Thank you very much for the second month. I probably butchered it last time too. Thank you. Appreciate it. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so like I'm playing with my friends, but I don't always play with my friends, and say I'm playing with Johnny. We're like playing, leveling together. Great. Johnny has to go to sleep. He's got work in the morning. I'm gonna stay up and keep playing. Item drops. That's like the thing Johnny's been looking for the entire time we were playing. But because it dropped while he was offline, I can't gift it to him, and that sucks. And so what we're doing, this is not in 0.9. This will come after 0.9. We're adding an item called resonance. And so what this does is, if you are playing with the same person for a significant period of time, eventually an item called a resonance will drop. You get this resonance item, you're playing together, resonance drops. Johnny goes offline. Playing together, or playing without Johnny offline, and the item for Johnny drops that he really wants. I then take my resonance, I apply it to the item that dropped, and that item can now be gifted to Johnny as though he was standing beside me in-game when it dropped. It basically adds Johnny's name to the list of people that were in the game when the item dropped. That's all it does. And it allows me then to gift it to him. And he can gift it back to me if he wants. It works just as though he was standing beside me. So this is sort of that style of thing, so that every once in a while you can gift the item to someone that's a friend of yours, that you've been playing with a bunch, that it kind of works in some really, really mild trading that happens among friends. But it still doesn't open up trading amongst strangers. So if you want to trade with strangers, you gotta play Merchant's Guild. Some sketchy ones here. Enrage, slow, it's not that bad really. I hope that's what you were asking about. Oh, I'm not drinking enough water. Can be like, choose MF faction for leveling build, then switch when you closed the build and want to make gold for DG. So I've heard a lot of different, like, okay, what if I level with this one and then switch and then do this, or what if I level with the other one and then switch and do this? Every single scenario I've heard people come up with about switching, it was better to just not switch and just start with the one you were going to switch to in the first place. Are any new character archetypes, fantasies enabled in 0.9 changes or additions? There's some. I mean, some narrow ones. There's not major. I would say nothing major. Some really specific variants, but no like really major additions. I mean, the fact that we're adding multiplayer does add like support as a playstyle, so yeah, there's that. Sorry, didn't have to voice. No problem. Very important question here. As a Hollow Knight fan, hey buddy, I've been wondering if the Hollow Blade weapon base type is a Hollow Knight reference. The visuals and void damage lead me to believe yes. This question has been keeping me up at night. Nice, I like that. I don't know. I don't think specifically. But as a studio, big Hollow Knight fans, so you never know. There's a lot of people that are big Hollow Knight fans that work on Epoch. I still haven't finished it yet, which is kind of embarrassing. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a reference, but I don't think it is. I'll go with that. Will gear dropped and not traded for while in Merchant's Guild have a Merchant's rank requirement? No. If no, wouldn't that mean it's a lot easier to go Merchant's Guild to COF? It is easier to do that switch, yes. if you could change your mind or your friend wants to play, as you get to keep using your self-found gear, while players who go COF to Merchant's Guild lose access to all gear. Yes, it is easier to switch from Merchant's Guild to COF. However, it's still, if you're planning on switching to COF, it's just better to start a COF. Good day, good day! Resonance is tied to party play, though. I was asking for solo perspective. I want to play solo 99% of the time, but every once in a while find an amazing item I would like to trade. The current system doesn't allow that. Correct, the current system does not allow that. And will not allow that. Will resonance carry from one cycle to another? Resonance will be treated just like any other item. So, no, like they'll stay, just like every item does. Like they'll transition the same way every other item transitions to standard cycle, but they won't. Like you can't. They'll drop as items. They'll function as items. They're items. So, I'm not quite sure what you mean by the question, but they're items. I hope that explains it. When is the NTX store going live? Probably not until 0.91 now. Unfortunately, we had some problems with it and had to push it back. It was so close too. Oh, it's frustrating. So, like, frustratingly close to working. Like, got right down to the very last second, and we're like, oh, that's a problem. Let's back up a little bit and regroup and collect ourselves. How good is search for an item in auction house you want a specific stats? The search and sort functionality, filtering functionality, whatever you want to call it, in the bazaar will be very powerful and very low friction. So if you're like, I want to find an item, we haven't built the system yet, so the details are, I don't know the details yet, but the way we've designed it and the way we've written it out in the design document, we've written extremely low friction search and sort, very high power search and sort functionality. So we specifically wrote more specific than the loot filter. So like, I want this item to specifically have a high rolled T7 affix of this specific affix and these 3 other affixes, but I don't care what they're rolled as. Sure. That aspect of it will be like super low friction. And by low friction I mean there's not like a By low friction, I mean there's not like hoops to jump through to make to find the specific item you want. You're never gonna have to like reload a zone or anything like that. You're never gonna be like having to go to different spots to search from it. Like you go to the spot, you know if it exists, it's here at this spot. I'm gonna go to that one spot. Is it like here's the criteria to search from? Is it there? Great, buy it. Like that part will be super low friction. So how good is it? Very, very, very good. I love the idea of a network of COF players all playing with others in the network so they can drop some resonance for others in the network and can move items across the network slowly. An item can only be resonanced once, so that's not possible. You have to play with the person pretty frequently for for quite a while to get a resonance to drop. And there's a slight misunderstanding that someone had in the wording. I just want to make sure that you're not hitting the same one. You have to actively be playing with the person for the resonance to drop as well. So just to be clear on that one. Will there be an option to gift MTX items? Ooh, I don't think so. I don't think we've planned that. Not 100% on that one. Can I see the backpack MTX while in a transformation skill? Oh, good question. Asking for spring and form backpack to be visible as well with other skills similar. I don't know. I don't think so. Oh. I feel like it should be possible. I don't think that'll work at 0.9 launch. In terms of balance overhauls of classes, is this going to be a big patch? Yeah. Does Resonance take an inventory slot, or does it go to your crafting material inventory? Also, if anyone has, once the stream ends, if people do have more questions about the item faction system, or the trading system, or what you want to call it, literally everything I've said so far today is in the FAQ. It's in that original post. I haven't put any new information out today. All of it's there. It's very exhaustive and very specifically worded. But I know the post is huge and confusing, and like the biggest problem with the system is the complexity, I think, which is why I'm happy to answer questions about it. And if you have more questions and you can't find it in that FAQ, you can come to Discord or the forums or Reddit or anything like that, and the people that are around that'll answer the questions. If you're not like absolutely certain, please don't answer other people's questions about it, because I've seen so many wrong answers being given to questions. That's a little frustrating. And they're said with such authority that you're like, I believe this person, and I know they're wrong. Alright, has there ever been a discussion on being able to chaos uniques? Maybe give them glycerins? Oh yeah, we've talked about that lots. Would MTX ever be able to be bought with in-game gold? Very unlikely. Like, in-game earnable cosmetic items are something we do plan to have and do want to have. But items will almost certainly all be either exclusively earnable in-game or purchasable with real money. I don't think there'll be anything that'll be like you can get it either way type thing. I'm pretty sure that everything's either exclusively going to be earnable or purchasable. And I also want to be clear that all of the MTX, everything in the MTX store is strictly cosmetic, and there is nothing that will give you ever give you any power or convenience or anything that's not cosmetic. Always strictly cosmetic. Random Name X is reset for 16 months in a row. Thank you very much. Congrats on getting the Bazaar back in the game. Always believe in you. It's a little different now. It's very different from what the Bazaar was going to be originally. But this one's way better, and we're pumped on it. So thanks. And that's why I need to be playing a minion build today. Sorry if I didn't mute that quick enough. I don't even know where I am now. Wow, I ran far away. Alright, let's finish this echo off, Mike. You can do it. This was a tough echo. Nailed it. Just in case I missed the answer, no problem if you did, could we hope for a node or something to enable the player to deploy more than one ballista per cast? Ballista needs some love. Ballista hasn't got the love it needs yet, but Ballista needs some love. I think deploying multiple ballistas simultaneously is unlikely given their size. But maybe. We'll see. Ballista needs some love. Ballista's got some issues. Ballista's had a little bit of work done on it, but it hasn't had what I think needs to be done to it yet. And it's still on the list. So, hope for improvements. Yes, hope for that specifically. We'll see. What AirBG do you like the most? excluding Last Epoch, which I think is what the question's asking for, Diablo 2 is my clear front runner. No questions about it. I played it more than every other ARPG combined, easily. Like, that's not even a close race. I played Diablo 2 off and on since its launch, and for huge stretches of time. Yeah. Diablo 2 is my jam. I still go back to it. I still go play. Like I almost joined the most recent ladder for it. Came so close, but I'm like, I just don't have time for it. I commend the MTX and cosmetic only, but will there ever be MTX that offer better visual clarity? Yeah, that's a tricky one too. If we ever get into and we've talked about this as well. If we've decided that if we get into a situation where people feel like it becomes necessary to buy MTX to play a skill because of visual clarity, we've made a mistake and we need to do something to fix that so that people are not required to purchase the MTX to play the skill properly. That's something that we will make sure is not. We don't want to put people in a situation where they're like, oh, I really want to play the game and I really want to be competitive, but I don't have the extra $5 to buy that thing, so I can't. We don't want to put people in that position. We want people to be buying MTX and cosmetics because they're like, that's cool. I want to change how this looks because I want to look like that because that's cool. Yeah. Can you try on MTX before buying them? Currently, no. There is the current system gives you a preview of what it looks on sort of a generic faceless character, and then like a gameplay video preview showing it what it looks like in game on like a hypothetical character. Just like one of us on one of our characters. Add class-specific summon ballistas faster affix. That would help. You're right, Lizard. I'd love to. I'm not gonna go into Ballista. Actually, I have a lot of thoughts on Ballista. Any further information on what will be considered first cycle, 0.9 or 1.0? I mean, personally, I consider 0.9 the first cycle. So it depends how you define a cycle. But like some people say like, okay, well, you can't have a cycle until after 1.0 launches, and it's the first change to the game post 1.0. That's the first cycle in some people's minds. So like, some people would argue that 1.1 will be the first cycle type thing. But who knows what? I would argue 0.9 is the first cycle because of what happens to the characters transitioning from 0.9 to 1.0. What's your opinion on the pace and level of power creep that has occurred throughout development? It seems changed a lot since I last played 0.82. Wow, that's a while, yeah. Bonus, what's the sweet spot Ellie's going for in this aspect? There's always going to be some form of power creep that's going to happen, I think, to keep things interesting. We try and mitigate it as little as possible. We try and design things such that it will happen as little as possible. It's kind of hard to say there's been power creep because we're still not at 1.0 yet. We're not at the, like... We've sort of got an idea of what we want 1.0 to look like, and the power level of things to hit, and the challenge that's available to hit at 1.0. So I'm really happy with it, I think. Because there's no infinitely scaling power accessibility from new, like there's no Paragon level system. There's no, you know what I mean? Like it's, you don't get to, I don't know, I'm sorry, I'm not going to do another echo. We're right at the end here, and I'm hurting a bit. So I'm going to finish off some questions, and I'm going to end, but we're not doing another echo. I'm so sorry, guys. I've got another little teaser here. Let's put this up while I'm talking. I'm gabbing away. I'll stand over here so you can see me. Hello. As far as power creep goes, I would really like it if items we're making now are still relevant and still functional 5 years from now. I really hope so. And we'll still be working to keep, like, to balance them and keep them up to date and change them and update them so they are still relevant and things like that. I think that you will see damage being higher 5 years from now. If we're ever in a situation where we're like, should we put a little M beside that number so it's so many millions of damage? there'll be some sort of number crunch that'll happen before that happens. We're not going to get there. And I know you can already get hits that are absolutely mammoth. Oh, are you excited for the lore and cinematics D4 will have? Oh, yeah. Are there MTX that will change the way summons look? Oh, yeah. Definitely. There are not any available in the first version of the MTX store. Totally forgot it was Friday and the dev stream today. Caught the end of it. Something at least. Hi, Mike and the team. Hello. I took off next Thursday and Friday for launch day. Cool. I hope that is not adversely affecting you. But thanks. I hope you have fun with it too. For launch day, from work, and my entire team chuckled when I explained the reason. Awesome. Can you make it so Aaron's new unique only drops for everyone else besides him so he can point and laugh? I mean, no, but that would be hilarious. Why did you decide to give us 7 resistances to manage, but at the same time only 4 affixes per item? When gearing new characters, I find my prefix is sometimes empty because I don't have enough shards to put the handful of mods I care about in every item, but my suffixes are constantly exhausted and I'm trying to keep up with the demand. It's interesting. I actually hear the opposite of this a lot. As far as the number or the prefix suffix count, we actually started with 6 total, so 3 and 3. Interestingly enough, and it felt we got a lot of feedback that it was too busy. The items were too busy, especially with having pretty involved implicits. So there's pretty involved implicits on items, which kind of acts like an extra affix. And then we added sealing affixes as an extra dynamic for crafting. So we kind of get to that 6 anyways. And we like having those mechanics spread out a little bit over implicits and sealing affixes instead of just having 6 straight affixes on there. We think it's a little bit more interesting, a little bit more dynamic. And I think it fits better, sort of how we've come about it with it. As far as having 7 resistances to manage, we try to put a lot of access to resistances in passives, and even just like in some skills, ways to sort of like to get those in other ways than just your gear. As far as the number of damage types, how do we come up with this? Sorry. As far as the number of damage types, how do we come up with this? It's been a long time since we settled on 7. Like, this is one of the very early things we settled on. And it kind of lines up nicely with, like, there's a little bit of symmetry here in the sense that, like, physical is sort of the most standard basic thing, and then you have different types of magic essentially. And there's the more typical elemental magic here, and then the more kind of like evil, dark styles of magic over here. Void being our sort of unique one. It's not completely unique, but it's the rarest one to find elsewhere type thing. More iconic to the game, I guess. And we knew we didn't want as many as like Grim Dawn. Grim Dawn has a lot. We felt that was a little too much. But we thought 7 was a good number to get the right theming diversity in, so we can still say like, I guess it was just like a good variety number for us, I guess. It's where we thought we could hit specific themes and not have them step on each other's toes and still feel unique, but have good variety. So the best explanation I come up with here. A couple more questions. I'm gonna try and run these out. I speculate Warlock armor set. Tell me I'm right. The theme hits me on the mark. I will say this armor set is not available in 0.9. This is a post 0.9 teaser. Just a minor thing. Amazing level designs. Thank you. I will let the level design team use that. No, you said that. You should do Q&A with how proud the designers are or should be. Oh yeah, like get level designers on here to do Q&A. I'd be down with that. I haven't talked to them if they'd want to do that or not, but I will ask them, see if they want to. Any plans for a transmog system like D3 and Grim Dawn? Not at the moment. We've talked about it. I think we figured out a way to do it and have it work, but I can't remember if there was a problem with that or not. There was an old version that we were going to do, and we hit a wall with it. I think there was a fix for, like, a workaround for a different way. It's been a while. Not for 0.9. Hopefully in the future. I don't know exactly what the plans are. Is it likely that you implement a resistance stat that combines void and necrotic and poison resistance to an elemental, like elemental does? Unlikely. We've talked about this and we've tried to come up with a name for it. Feed me a good name for it, and we'll talk. Will there be a stream next week? I don't know. We don't like to do dev streams when there's a ton of other people streaming, so we don't want to draw attention from them. It will be the day after launch, so maybe we'll see. I'll have to defer to the social team on that. Last two questions. I'm going to cut it off after Naomi 105's question. Will there be any way to use in-game older sets of equipment as cosmetic, like using the skin of the rusty sword on the crystal blade? Sorry, I see 2 questions ago. How many questions have you answered in total over all these streams? Hundreds. Probably over 1,000. I don't know, a lot. A lot. And with that, it's time to end. I just realized that I opened up the character sheet behind the teaser. I was referencing the sheet as I was talking. Anyways, I hope you had fun. I know I did. It was a little hectic. We got through it. If you have any more questions that I failed to answer or follow-ups, please head on over to our Discord. Always hanging out there in the Ask the Devs channel. Lots of great questions, lots of great answers. Ask the community too. They know tons of stuff too. We're also active on other platforms like our forums and Reddit, and other stuff too. So yeah, we're happy to chat, hang out. Come talk to us. Let us know what you think. Yeah. I think that's it for today. We're done. I'm gonna toss the stream over to someone here. Let's go say hi. Let's go say hi to Aaron. We haven't said hi to Aaron in a while. Have a good day, everyone. Feel better. I guess I'm saying that to myself. Drink lots of water. Have fun.